Family, welcome back to the channel. I'm out here in Bridgeland, and yesterday I came out here. I was fortunate enough to come out here and tour and have a meeting with Highland Homes, and as I was leaving that meeting, shout out to my guy Joey, I rode down Prince of Orange Lane, and I said, oh my goodness, have I been gone so long from Bridgeland? Have I filmed so long ago that these people have formed, poured, framed, completely built and staged models that I had no idea about? And unfortunately, the answer to that question was yes. So today we changed that. And so not everybody's ready. Some of the big heavy hitters on the bigger floor plans that are 60 foot and wider are not quite ready yet. They'll be ready in probably about a month. And so we'll bring the wife back out here to give y'all her opinion of what she thinks about those new mansions coming in Bridgeland. But for the people that are here, we're gonna be focusing on what has been a highlight for my channel, I would say probably for the last few years, of that people that are looking in that sweet spot of that like 40 to 50 foot wide product, people that are moving up to a more high-end luxury builder from their entry-level home, people that are moving from a different place, and that size that just gives them the pizzazz, that gives them the zhuzh, that gives them the vibe of them making it and relocating to Texas, has been about on a 50 foot product like the one that I'm standing in front of right now. So we're gonna show you those, talk about taxes, talk about the school district, we're gonna talk about HOA, we're gonna talk about price ranges, availability, all the stuff that you care about. If that sounds good, stick with me. And as we're wrapping up today, I got some news from one of your favorite builders, Perry Homes, that they're going in a super secret section over here in Bridgeland Central that is gonna be tied to Cypress ISD. So we'll talk a little bit about that. If that sounds good, stay tuned. And up first, we have Newmark Homes with the Verona plan. And Newmark is gonna Newmark, man. Gorgeous. Come in and you have an office off the front. Separate dining, a little bit more formal. So I know I have a lot of people that will tour with me and they kind of get hung up on the 50 foot because they have the 60 foot dreams where you have the separate dining space over here. And so I'm always happy when a builder will use the space effectively and actually give you this space and give you the office and give you all the bedrooms and all the stuff that you want. Over here would be your garage. Shout out to my guy Jimmy. What days are you here?
Every day except for Thursday and Friday.
All right, so if you swing by and see my guy Jimmy, tell him I sent you. Every day but Thursday and Friday. Got a half bath, that's always good, so people aren't going into a bedroom to do their business and be all up in your business. Laundry off, and then Newmark is just going Newmark, man. I love how they do this kind of feature back wall on their homes. Always been a fan, always been a fave. Love it, love it, love it, love it. And of course, that high-end DNA that they have, that they share with their Frederick Harris, that custom DNA that you have is just, you get some beautiful results when you get up to 50 foot and bigger. With Newmark, they have a couple plans that I just absolutely love, that I've sold a bunch of throughout the Houston Metro and like the Sienna area. I've done well out there. I believe they had a 50 in Fullbrook that I sold out there that was super nice also, but this is gorgeous. The sight lines on here are gorgeous. My goodness. All right, take it outside. Sure, this is an upgrade, but this patio is lovely with the wrap. Little rap daddy. I like it. Okay, so before you ask, is this my normal size yard? Nah, bruh, it's not, okay? What would be more normal is probably to that post right there. And so you would lose probably 10 to 15-ish kind of feet on a more normal, but will there be lots that are this size that you could build on? Yes. The builders are always gonna kind of show you the best case scenario of what you could ever have with them. Sometimes they'll have bigger options, sometimes they'll have smaller options, and most times they'll be like right in the middle. It's kind of a more common size for what to expect for a lot. But this one is super nice, and I love the length on this one and the width of it, because you could still get like a little fireplace, a little cooktop or something right there if you're doing an outdoor kitchen. You can still have enough room for a TV wall or something right here. So I like how this is actually framed up. It looks really nice. Really, really nice. Come back in. Man, I just love that so much. Goodness. All right, slide into the primary. Good size. So we got a king size bed, full size furniture, seating in here, right? This is a really good size room. I believe that this home is around 2,700-ish square feet. And so in my mind, I'm mentally comparing this to the size of our home. And so far, I think this is a really great use of the space. I'm interested to see what they have done with the upstairs to kind of finish that out, to give you all the bedrooms, the movie room and game room and all that stuff. I'm very interested in how they finish that out, but from what I'm seeing, this is gorgeous. All right. Now, base on this is $550. As shown, it's gonna be high now. Now, Newmark is gonna put a lot of money into their models. They wanna let you know that they do this thing, this design thing. So on this one, you're probably in the sixes. He has one in inventory that is like $599 that he says has a good finish on it. But yeah, base on this one is $550, and to be in this neighborhood, to have this much square footage, to have 4 beds, an office, and a media at a $550 base is great. Okay, so that's definitely good pricing. And just one more look. Did I show you the pantry? Actually, let me show you the pantry so we can say we saw it. I love that little coffee bar niche over there. Okay, little bitty pitter patter. Now, the one thing about Newmark that is special and a little bit more unique than other builders, because they have that custom DNA, is if you wanted to redraw some things, manipulate some things, move some stuff around, you would be able to do that because they have that DNA. So it's like, if you're willing to pay for it, they're willing to do it. Got a little peekaboo. Beautiful game room. They out here rocking out. Cheney would have lost her mind if she saw that in here. We'd have been in here extra 30 minutes doing a concert. But yeah, just look at the vibes on that, man. Gorgeous. Off the game room, we have a really good size primary that is oriented in such a way that you can have a king size bed, good size furniture in here. You have a wall for TV that makes sense. One of the things that sometimes happens is trying to squeeze all of the spaces in the layout doesn't make the most sense on a 50 footer. And so you kind of have a weird TV or have to have like no TV. And so that is good to see that this was thought of thoughtfully in this plan. Little media room, look, man. Now, I would have lost my wife in here, super Hamilton fan. So we'd have had another 30-minute concert just for her. So that's an hour of concerts in here. Gotta make sure I don't bring them back in here. But it's beautiful. All right, so come in here. Got the linen. And we got 2 more bedrooms. So yeah, they got the stuff. They got the 4 beds. 4 beds, office, media, game room. Closet's a little tight. But again, at this square footage, that's kind of to be expected. That's one of the drawbacks on this size, and I think that's why it works so well for like young families or those people that are wanting to put up some roots into a really nice neighborhood, which happens to be most of my clients, you know. Or they'll have like one kid that's a little bit older, and that one will have a nicer closet, kind of like this one. And then the other ones are a little bit younger, and so they don't quite need that yet. So it's a good step into getting you in the zone in a neighborhood that you really, really like. But yeah, this is a great use of space. 550 base. I'll go down and talk to my guy Jimmy about other availability, small side, all the way on what's the biggest, give you the price range, and we'll be back in a second. All right, I just left from seeing my guy Jimmy. We have all the pricing. All right, so this is on paper the biggest plan that they have, but they actually have a plan called the Lens plan that on paper is a little bit smaller, that you can do about 400 to 500 square feet of modifications that would make it bigger than this one. Okay, so if you wanted a little bit more space, you could get that. In the 50 foot, you can get over 3,000 square foot. In terms of pricing on the 50 foot, we have about 1,900 square feet is like 460-ish. On the high end of what we were just in, the Verona plan, we're 557. And like I said, the Lens is a little bit bigger, so that goes up to 559. If you start doing the modifications, you can get up over 3,000 square feet. They are closing out of their 45-foot section here. They have about 10 homes left. So once those are done, pricing is going to be a little bit lower than what I just said. But they are focusing for the next chapter of Newmark here in Bridgeland. It's going to be in Prairie that we are in right now, and that's going to be 50-foot products only, starting about the low 500s, going up to about the mid 500s. Okay, but yeah, that was gorgeous. Comparing that to my house, there's some things that I love about that. I love that dining is a little bit tucked. I think that our house in Meridiana has a grander living room space, but the upstairs layout and things make it up for me. And so I'd be kind of tossed up either way. I love our plan, but I think that one is going to do well out here, especially for people that are cool with being in Waller ISD. They got brand new schools. I've heard nothing but great things from my clients that are in them. And so I think that is going to be a game changer for me to have something that is that pretty that you can keep under 600,000 in a neighborhood like this. In terms of latest on taxes are about 3.2, so that's come down a little bit. The HOA is just over 1,400. I want to say it's like 1,425, I believe is what Jimmy just showed me on his little brochure. And so not that bad, considering that this is basically its own little city. You got all these villages. So what's that? Creekland, Prairie Land. You're gonna have Bridgeland Central and all the OG sections that you got here tied to Bridgeland, right? I've been here touring in Bridgeland for years now, and I still don't think I've seen every section yet. So that just tells you how massive this place actually is. It's the second largest master plan community here, just behind the Woodlands, which is its own city, and it's only getting bigger. All right. Get your spiral staircase that everybody's going crazy over. This would be your garage over here. Gorgeous. I know I posted this for my neighborhood of Meridiana, and I probably got 50 calls the next day. So I know that y'all love this plan, okay? So things that they're doing over here. Got range hoods on the 40s. Appliances in the cabinetry, right? You can do that in good old Meridiana, but I believe those are upgrades if you're doing that. My guy Tony is out here. He's the sales counselor, so I will verify kind of what's standard and what's not. Over here, good size room. So you got the 2 rooms down, which is another important thing that has been a seller for some of these plans that will give you this, and this is one of the few 40 to 45 foot sections that will do this in Houston, where you have 2 beds down. Most of them are kind of targeted at younger families that are going to have, you know, the 1 primary down, all the rest up, because you're assuming that it's going to be young family with young kids, that you want that separation of the noise. But for the people that have said, hey, we have an older parent, or we have, you know, someone that's coming to help us raise this family or to be with us, or we have that older parent that is just moving in with us, no kids necessary. Products on a 40 to 45 foot wide usually haven't worked because you haven't had 2 beds down and somebody's going to have to go up and down, right? But in this instance, it looks though Highland has solved that with this plan on a 40, whereas in previous neighborhoods, I would say you would probably have to do a 50. But Highland is one of the few buildings, and is one of the reasons why I love them so much, because they have solved a lot of the problems that you have, even in their 40 and 45 foot, even in their alleyway. A lot of their series solve bigger house problems for people that have a different family niche other than just a young family that wants an entry-level price, okay? All right, show you a little peekaboo pantry. In Meridiana, they did this extra as like a secondary pantry just to give you a little bit more. It looks like they just have this as generic storage. So if that's an option over here, I would probably add that as another little pantry area. And then it does the thing that I even wish that our house on a 50 did, and was straight all the way across, right? So in my house, love our house, but about right there, it starts to slope down. And so it doesn't look super dramatic, but whenever I see a plan like the Everly or like this plan that don't do that, I always am just like, ah, man, I wish they had our plan just go straight across, right? But that is what it is. Then you got the cabinets to the top. That's gonna be upgrades. You got the under cabinet lighting. You got the curved island. You got the window seating. Just nice little elegant soft touches that Highland Homes just does, that I'm a super fan of. I'm kind of, call me biased, but of the houses that, there's a few builders that when I walk into a house, the house really sells itself. People have come knowing by name, I want this plan. And I would say, if I'm being honest, Weston is probably the most recognizable because they do the spiral rotunda staircase thing. But the second builder that people come back like, I want this plan in my life, has been the Highland. And so they're very specific. I want the 222, I want the 224, I want the Panamera, I want the King. They very specific on the house that solves their needs. Now, apologize in advance. I don't think they've been turned over to full power yet, so you're probably about to hear this generator humming. It's gonna be loud. I'm gonna be quick, but I just want to show you what the outdoor space looks like, okay? Yeah, that thing loud. Oh, that thing loud. Okay. So hopefully it's not too bad for y'all. This is about what you're gonna expect on a 40 to 45 foot wide lot. This is about normal. This is movie magic. This would just be grass off of your patio. I believe this is extended a little bit. Normally, I think the patio would stop at this wall. It might be a little bit further off this wall, but this looks like it's been extended a little bit because they bathed the window. This slider gonna cost you about $13K. But I'm a fan of it. If you fancy, be fancy about it. Go ahead and get the slider. Now, I don't know if y'all noticed this, but from the Meridiana video, this little bump out is something that you can't have over there because they are building in a section that has, and don't quote me on the number, but let's say the section restriction is 2,500 square feet for a 40-foot plan. And this plan is like 2,490. And so if they did this bump out, it would put you over the square footage. Okay, so that's the issue that they are having in Meridiana, but it looks as though here we don't have that problem, right? And they have lots that can accommodate it. And so as long as it has a lot and it doesn't infringe upon the repetition issues with this being the plan that it is, people love it. So I would imagine that they would also build this one as an inventory because people love it over here. I've already been told in Meridiana that they aren't building it as an inventory because it costs too much for that area. But in an area like this where the prices are much higher, I would imagine that you would see some of these in inventory a little bit more frequently over here just because you have so many builders and the price point that is going to straddle this pretty nicely to where they don't feel like they're going to lose money if they build it, okay? Looks like they're still doing the standalone tubs over here. I know that there have been some talks on their inventory that they were going to go back into the cased tub over here, which my wife loves because she says, oh man, I can put my stuff on the curb. I don't have to have this thing like over the tub. And I hate how it looks, but the functionality, I get it. And I've actually, a couple people have echoed what my wife says. Maybe I'm in the minority of just being like, I don't care if it's functional, I don't take baths, I just like how it looks. But for people that are actually taking the bath, they're just like, now you gotta have the little rack thing that goes across that holds things that's kind of in the way. And so I'll defer to the people that use it. But what I would expect is that this is, from building, I know that this is like an $8,000 option. And if you get the oversized one, I think it's like $9,000, somewhere between 7 and 9. And so if they know that they're gonna potentially lose money on an inventory, they would probably be less likely to put this option in there unless they are competing directly in, let's say, a Newmark section that they are doing it, right? So more times than not, you'll probably see the little cased tub, but just want you to see the options that you have. But yeah, super nice. Good cabinet space, 2 vanities, no make-ready station in here, but we're in the 40s, man, so. And then this one wraps to give you much more closet space, okay? But yeah, so we got 2 beds down and a really nice open concept feel. Your dining space is gonna be kind of where this secondary rug is right there. And yeah, it's just like I know what it felt like to see this plan and to see, you know, that it was within my wheelhouse. I know how this plan makes people feel. This, the Everly, the Lincoln's another one that people really love. There's like 4 or 5 plans, 2-story plans for Highland on this 40 to 45 foot width kind of product that are just showstoppers. And I know what it was like to see that for the first time. And so I sell a lot of these. I know that people love them, and I know that they're going to do well. Anytime they're in the market on a 40 to 45, Highland is going to be one of the top salespeople in there, just because they do a really beautiful job. Specifically on inventories, they are my favorite between them and Newmark. They are my 2 favorite inventory builders because they build, if you were to get an inventory of this, there's a high likelihood that it's going to look fairly similar to this, right? Whereas some of the other models, when you go to their inventory, it's such a steep decline. The carpet's ugly. It's not the tightly woven stuff like you've seen in the model. It's the shag carpet. It's just like the hardware's not there. Door height's not there. There's a lot of stuff that inventory, this is going to be like an inventory standard. This floor, vinyl flooring is going to be an inventory standard. That type of countertop is going to be standard sort of stuff. So there's a lot of stuff that I love about Highland on their inventories, and it speaks to why I sell so many of them around the metro. But the thing that caught so many of y'all's attention when I first posted this home was this little spiral staircase. And so we'll do the peekaboo view for the peekaboo crew, and y'all let me know what y'all think. Now, I'm interested with them having a little bit more room to play with, if they would have the option to do the media room, like right there. I'm interested to see that. Good sized room. Little galley closet. This is about the same as what my Panamera plan has on the 50 foot. That's nice. I like it. Really like it a lot. My dog's in here doing his work. All right, so I had to crawl under that just so y'all can get to see the other rooms in here. So they got this one staged off as an office. All right. So that's technically 3 beds. Not a true Jack and Jill. So full bath, that's gonna be shared for up here. 2 sinks. And then we have another bed over here. So they got this squared away as a 5-bedroom. So yes, I would imagine that you could have that other bedroom that we just came from be the bedroom, and this could be a media room, if I had to guess, right? But yeah, let me squeeze my big behind by this ladder one more time and I'll be right back. Yeah, that's great. So you can absolutely have 2 beds down, 2 beds up, and a media. I think, just from a space standpoint. Now, from a value standpoint, it would make more sense to always have that as a 5-bedroom. So I would do what they did and just make that my media room. That way, when sale time comes, it is time to move on because you've been here long enough, you've experienced it, and now maybe you're moving into a bigger home, right? I would say I would keep it as a 5-bedroom. That way you have the option to market it as a 5-bedroom, right? A 4-bedroom and a flex doesn't hit the same on the MLS as somebody that searches for and needs a 5-bedroom, okay? So keep that in mind. So beautiful. I'll go down, look at pricing, and then when I get back outside, after I've done that, I'll get back with you and let you know everything you need to know. All right, so you have plans ranging from about 380-ish, 1 story, up to that one being a base of about 470. And so got a wide variety and a wide range there. But what I can tell you is that from a standard of builder, in terms of quality, in terms of warranty, as someone that lives in the home and has had warranty issues, no build is perfect. But as someone that has lived with a Highland home now for 2 years, it's been a great experience. And my clients have had that same great experience. And so I know that you will whenever you decide to sign up and get you one as well. Now, in terms of the special stuff, right? So first off, another relationship that is over here, my girl, Miss Christine, who I sold a home with in Marvita for Perry Homes, is now over here. Come up, all hugs, all love. Hey, good to see you. Glad you're doing well. How's business? Business is good. Boom, Aaron, I got some news for you. Let me know the tea. Tell me what you got to tell me. So she comes up and she says, hey, did you know that we're going to be in Bridgeland Central? And I said, I'd seen rumors about it, but I hadn't seen anything official that says this was a real thing. I know I've sold a few over there for David Weekley. I said I knew that they were getting another section because they were doing well, but I hadn't seen anything for y'all. And she said, well, I'm actually going into the new section with David Weekley, okay? And so she said that she's gonna have an alleyway series, which I have never seen from Perry, so I'm very interested to see the alleyway series where the garage is in the back, and which is just completely different for how Perry has presented themselves in this marketplace. So I'm interested to see that, and they also are gonna have their standard 50. But the sale about being at Bridgeland Central, if you're not familiar, for those of y'all that want it to be in Cyfair ISD, again, I've had nothing but great reviews from my clients that have put their kids through Waller ISD and have now that they've moved on this side and they're going to these schools that are over here, brand new schools, state-of-the-art schools. I've had nothing but great experiences through my clients, right? And so when people get into the school talk, I don't really get into that. I just say, do your research. I'll connect you with some people if you have some questions about stuff, but do your own research, okay? But for people that had that apprehension and weren't quite sure that they were ready to take that step and go into that school district and be the guinea pig, as what a lot of people are looking at it as, brand new schools and a brand new school district that is basically being built from the ground up, that section would give you the opportunity to be in Cyfair, okay? So I've shown this model 50 times on this channel, so there was no need to really hit it again, but I did want to give you that special info, is that if you are waiting for a Perry home and you got a 50-foot plan that you love, or you got their alleyway series that you've been eyeing online as coming soon, they're coming soon, and they're going to be tied to Cyfair ISD, okay? But now we have another one of you guys' favorites. We got Chesmar Homes, and I think with that, we'll recap what we saw today, availability, and we'll call it a day. Now we're gonna go and check out the 45 for Chesmar. Let me know what you think. Now, stuff that I'm noticing already. Look what it's doing. So when people come to me and they're just like, Aaron, I'm fancy, but the budget ain't quite as fancy as I am, right? Chesmar's one of the people we go and see because they just do stuff that is fighting way above the weight class of what they're charging for a house, okay? And I love that they are my little sleeper. I'm gonna back up and we're gonna restart again. I love that they are my little sleeper because they are the best at this one thing. And that one thing is, if there is a desirable community that people want to be in, and they have anyone competing on that same width, right? They are going to be the best at getting you in a super, super nice neighborhood at a super affordable price, okay? So without compromising you being in something that's super ugly and not done up, this is going to be a beautiful home. I can already guarantee it, because that has been the standard that Chesmar has set for me and my clients. This is going to be a beautiful home. I haven't even been in it, and I know it's going to be a beautiful home, okay? But just the touches, that's a 60-foot touch, right? We just saw this on Newmark type vibes. We see this on Weston type vibes, the 60-footers. We see this on Perry type vibes, the 60-footers. This is a 40 to 45-foot wide product, and it's giving you that kind of a grand entryway. That's crazy. Okay, yapping, done glazing Chesmar. I love them. But we back into it. I'm done glazing. All right, so go back into it. This would normally be your garage. Now, I do hate that people do that, because a lot of people will see that and be like, oh man, I want the glass garage. I'm like, bro, that's movie magic. Don't be catfished. All right. So we come in. This would be your garage over here. Laundry room over here. So this would normally be the door that you would come out of your garage. This would be a little mud area. To the left, we have good sized bedroom. Or that many may use as an office. Good sized closet also. Linen, standard that I've noticed, tile all the way to the top on all Chesmars. Thoughtful little windows just to give you little peekaboos. And it's a beautiful home, man. Like, it's just legit just a beautiful home. Little pocket office over there. We'll swing back through over there. Good sized pantry, little coffee bar. Excuse me. And this is one of those builders that is also very pretty in inventory homes. They because they have their sales center in-house, you know exactly what you're gonna pay before you walk out the door. So if you say, hey, I want this plan with these finishes, you'll know. Whereas some of the other builders in Houston, you have a plan, and then you got an idea of what you want to spend, and then of course when you get to the actual design center, you got to make some choices, because what you wanted to spend is probably about $30,000 more than what you cared to spend, right? So now we're changing floors to maybe stuff that we didn't want, or we're changing countertops, or we're making decisions on, hey, the secondary bathrooms, they're going to be a little bit uglier than my primary, but I'm in my primary. So there's things that you don't know when you're going and dealing with some of the other builders. But in terms of things that you want, little features, we got the pull-outs, we got the appliances in the cabinets, we got range hoods, we got nice dramatic countertops. You got all the stuff. For somebody that would say, hey, I need an office, that might be tough on a 40 to 45 foot wide product for most builders, but having this thoughtful design to give you this low pocket instead of this being a luggage, under closet luggage thing. Say, hey, let's carve this out and make this actually useful. Let's put a window right there. Let's make this into an office suite that we can actually have some utility of it. And I just love that they did that. You got some wow factor in here. We got the vaulted ceilings. And I just love the thoughtful windows and little peekaboos just throughout. Super fan, man. Huge fan of Chesmar. Huge fan. Ever since I discovered them a few years ago, man, I've been a huge fan. And like I said, they have saved the day for me on a bunch of occasions where someone is just, again, you like what you like. I understand you're spending the money. You want to get everything that you want, everything you dreamed of, you want to get it. And sometimes the budget just doesn't align with everything that you want, right? But getting you everything that you need, making it look pretty, and giving you more than you expected, this is one of those builders that's going to give you more than you expected for what you're about to pay, okay? Super fan. This is about what I would expect for a decent sized yard. There are going to be some that are smaller. There's going to be some that are bigger. That's what you deal with out here in Texas. If you're building, you'll have the option. They typically hold back their super big lots until the very end. So if you're building, you'll see some stuff that's probably a little bit bigger than this. If you're catching an inventory, you're going to see some on some of what they would call the free lots, where they're a little bit smaller. So where that tree is, that's probably where most of the fence lines would probably be for something like this. So not crazy, but if you want a huge yard, you're probably gonna need to build on an oversized lot, okay? And this is a great size, man. Framed up this headboard wall, beautiful windows up top. Really great size, enough for a seating area over here. Put a little couch, a little chair. Tile up to the top, because that's what they do. Give you those little zhuzhes, those little touches. Separate vanities with, in a 45, a make-ready station, okay? So again, little touches, little pops of just showing you, hey, that fancy thing you say you want, that fancy builder that you came here on the tip of your tongue, like I only want somebody else, and you don't know about Chesmar, you legit need to give them a shot, man, seriously. And then where I just praised them for taking storage away on the stairs to give you that little pocket office, they found it and gave it back to you. It's the thoughtfulness. The lead designer, from what I've been told, is a lady. And so this is what I would imagine that a woman who loves homes, understands that there's a potential budget constraint in this market, and squeezing everything out of it functionality wise that she would want in a house. It shows like that in all the Chesmars. It's like just getting the absolute most out of it. Whereas some of the builders, it just feels like a guy. A guy is just doing stuff. You don't have a TV wall. Plugs are in weird spots. You got doors that are almost touching. There's just weird things that some builders do. And Chesmar, in my opinion, has been one of those builders where I walk in it and I'm just like, this is super functional and feels bigger than the number is on paper. Like, this house is only like 2,500 square feet. And so one of the smaller ones that we've looked at today, or that I've walked through, I didn't film everything that I walked through, and this feels bigger than a lot of the stuff that I walked through that was bigger than this, because it's just really thoughtfully done. Framing out this bedroom to have this stair touch here now gives you this little reverse storage under it's just I'm nerding out a little bit, sorry. And then you get elegant touches. So if you want this more modern look on the rail, movie magic, ignore that. But look at the windows going up your stairs. A gigantic game room. Gigantic game room. Another view of those windows that I was talking about. Now, this brings me joy because this is pretty clean. Looks like you got your tankless water heater up here. It looks like your AC is over here. And so the beautiful thing about this is clean and this is decked, so you'll have great storage and stuff in here. The thing that makes me a little bit sad is that although we have all of this attic space, it doesn't realistically look like we can carve much out of it outside of this little space, because you would still need to be able to service and maintain that and have the exhaust and all the stuff. And so you wouldn't want to wrap this up. You would need full access, and then you would still want full access to your unit upstairs in your attic to service it, right? So yay for attic access. That looks pretty clean, but you wouldn't really be able to do much but storage on that one. And so getting to the one con that I have for Chesmar is that they don't really have a ton of options when it comes to like structural changes. They're not going to be your structural change people. So if you're coming in, understand that you are going to be doing those things on your own after the fact. So if you come in and you have big ideas and big ambitions for, you know, adding a movie room or doing any of that stuff, what in the world? Wonder if they got that as a chase or something right now. Yeah, I would imagine AC or something goes through here. If you have these big grand ideas about what you're gonna do with the space or add to it, understand that if you're going through them, even on a build, you're gonna be very limited in the structural things that you can change. They try to stick to things that don't change the foundation and don't change the function of the roof line. And so if they had a plan that had all the spaces that you need, I would say swing for the fences and get the plan. But if you were trying to convert something like this and say, I'm gonna add a movie room, you likely would not be able to do it, okay? But for the trade-off of who I think this is for, somebody that wants something that has nice touches, this is a great space right here, right? For somebody that has, like I said earlier, opening up the segment, for someone that has high design eye, but this is truly your entry-level home and you want to be in a great neighborhood, this is probably where I would start, right? Because you can spend more than this very easily in this neighborhood and many neighborhoods that Chesmar is in. You can spend more. But the question that you got to have is, do you need to? You know, if you want the trims, if you want the black hardwares, if you want the nice doors, if you want windows in interesting spaces, if you want finishes in a look and a vibe at an affordable price, do you need to? Right? And that's an important question that everybody has to ask with everything going on in the world, right? If you don't have to spend it, I don't want you to spend it. If you want to spend it, hit me up. We can spend it. I'll help you spend it the most efficiently you've ever spent any of your bread. I'll help you do it, right? But if you don't have to, this is my go-to. If you don't have to, this is my go-to option, okay? But yeah, man, we have seen some beautiful homes today. A couple of them, like I said, that I thought we'd be able to go and check out. We weren't able to. Beezer ended up locking up. They had an issue that they were fixing kind of live that was a little bit destructive. That had been kind of hard to film around, so I didn't want to do it. I had to crawl through a ladder to get y'all into Highland. That's how early we are right now. People are still trying to get internet and full power here, but I had to show you, especially with the news of the Texans coming out here and basically bringing their headquarters out here, this is probably going to be that last stretch of how affordable this area is before that real boom kicks off. Okay, so this little run that we're in right now is a sweet spot that I think that if you are looking in the Bridgeland area, you want to get in. I've already talked to a few salespeople of some bigger products out here, and there have already been a couple Texan sales. There's already been a couple high-level staff members that have already bought out here. They're buying early, okay? And so before everything happens with the headquarters moving out here, if you're looking out here, you want to do it sooner rather than later. Now, not everybody was ready today, okay? So we will be back to check out some of the bigger versions, right? So there's a couple builders like Frederick Harris, I believe Frederick Harris, their model is still where they are, but Newmark's bigger model is coming up. We got Tri-Point's new models that are gonna be ready like next month or so. I talked to my guy with Perry. Perry's 80-foot model is gonna be ready in a couple weeks to a month or so. So we'll be back out here with the Mrs. Y'all know y'all love when the Mrs. is out here going through these mansions, giving her opinion and telling you what she thinks. So her and Chandler will be back probably for that update video once we get everybody. And of course, Highland is gonna be coming back with theirs. So we got more to see out here before all the chaos kicks off for the new Texans headquarters out here in Bridgeland. But yeah, that was the video for today, man. We had some great builders. Tax rate of about 3.2, HOA of about 1,400. You got one of the largest master plan communities in the whole nation. This is only smaller than the Woodlands. I think we're at about 15,000 acres and counting. And so you got a lot of builders, a lot to do, a lot of amenities, close to some of the best shopping here in the Houston Metro, close to hospitals, A-rated schools on the OG side with an up-and-coming school district on the new side. You got great diversity. You pretty much got everything that you could ever want. This neighborhood has been a #1 seller for, man, at least a decade. One of the #1 selling communities in all of the nation. And it's easy to see why when you got builders like this at prices like this, with the amenities that they have, with a decent tax rate and low HOAs, it's no wonder why so many people want to call Bridgeland